I'd like to start first by thanking those of you who have joined us for the draw for the month of September, and to thank the staff of the Lagos Mortgage Board, especially their leadership, and also the managers of the club, those young men and women who have stood here for almost an hour, sorting things out in a very efficient and organized manner. I'd like us to give them a big round of applause. They are the ones who now make this process possible. Watching that documentary, seeing people move into their homes, seeing their children begin their journey of life, gives me a lot of joy. If you have struggled to own a home, if you have been evicted by a landlord before, if you have slept on the street before, you will understand what that means. I know, because I've experienced it before. So when I see those people in their own homes, I know what the difference has become. And I am proud to be the member of the government that is making that possible in this state. To simply commit to deliver 200 homes a month is quite easy. But to actually make it possible is a monumental challenge, to put it mildly. And that is why no government in this country, at least to the best of my knowledge today, can commit to and deliver 200 homes every month. There is none. And it speaks very boldly to the audacity of the men and women who serve in the Lagos State government to make such bold and ambitious promises and to keep them. You know, our critics have tried, when we started, to say everything that could possibly go wrong with this scheme. Initially, they said we were building only for the rich. But I'm glad that the rich now live in Mushin, they live in Igodo, and they live in Iloro and in Agege. It means that our state is making progress. If people in that area of Lagos can depend and rely on their government to keep its word. That is the kind of government that we have run here. A government that does what it says. A government that does not lie to its people. A government that tells them honestly when there are problems. That is the kind of government that we have run here. Because we have run it with our reputation. Well, I know that our critics are losing their voices, but we have not lost our commitment. But let me congratulate the winners for this month. Yes, we put out 200 homes there. 59 people alone were able to qualify. And the problems we are seeing again is continuous documentation challenges. People failing to keep records of their transactions. But it is good at least to see that from this month, from today, 59 new, young, middle class men and women have had their lives radically altered by the policies of the government that keeps its promise. Radically altered for the better, and I must emphasize that. These people come from all parts of Nigeria. They worship in different ways, but our homes do not know that. They are bound by one common identity, whether they are Christians or Muslims. whether they come from indigenous parts of Lagos or from the northern extremes and the middle belt of Nigeria. They are bound by only one common identity. They are Lagosians. They have chosen to live here. They have chosen to pay their taxes here. They carry clearly and proudly the Lagos residence registration identity card that makes them people we are responsible for. And that is all that it takes really, except for your votes and your taxes. So let me congratulate those winners and to remind you that apart from the work that officers of the Lagos State government have done, two important items make this joyous day in your own lives possible: votes and taxes. I know that without taxes you would not have qualified, so I know that you all pay your taxes, otherwise you would not have been eligible. But did you vote in 2011? Did you vote in 2007? Will you vote in 2015? It is important to ask you these questions because if some people did not vote for this government, you will not be sitting here today as beneficiaries of housing loans. You therefore owe a duty to give others a chance by ensuring that you vote to keep this project going when the time is called upon. You must pass on the torch because you have benefited. You will recall that when we initiated this project in February, before the first draw in March, I told you that we were targeting first home owners alone, people who do not have any other property in Lagos. Those are the people we were targeting. And I told you that many changes will come as we move on in our journey. Some of the changes that have come is the concept of rent to own that we are still developing in order to include many more people who cannot meet up the mortgage immediately, but who by paying rent and saving a part of that rent can accrue a mortgage that qualifies them to become mortgage holders. But also from last month, this project also took an additional positive dimension. One of the positive things that we expected to happen has happened. It has taken on a regeneration concept, a renewal and regeneration concept. And that's why you will see that last month, apart from the draws and the mortgages that were presented, some people who were displaced because their houses collapsed a few years ago in Shokura, I think about 16 of them, were beneficiaries of new homes. So those are people who had lost their homes, but who became beneficiaries under the scheme. So we have started moving now slowly but very firmly from first homeowners to previous homeowners who have lost their homes, who under our policy of regeneration are being carried along. Because it is a very vulnerable and humbling experience to lose your home. So from Shogro, I told you last month that we were already moving into Adeniji Adeni. I am happy to inform you that we have concluded now the designs for the Adeniji Adeni scheme. We now have the bill of quantities. We have resettled and paid resettlement costs to the first 30 families, I believe, who we are moving out in order to regenerate where they used to live. And hopefully, before the end of this year, we will complete the procurement, award the contracts for the reconstruction, and start building. Now, let me round up simply by again sharing information, provoking all of us to think, letting our minds unite about what this is all about. You know, the debate about affordability still goes on. And I have challenged some people to say, look, affordability is not an isolated concept. It is an economic concept based on the price of sand, the cost of cement, the cost of iron rod, the cost of money, and of course sustainability. And that if you build a house at 10 naira and you sell it at 5 naira, over time you will lose all your money and your capacity to build more is gone. So we must build and we must sell with subsidies that keep the project going for others. The truth is that the houses that you inherit today is the product of the taxes that other people have paid. And they expect that also they will get a fair share in future. So I hope that we can all continue to think and research. We are open to ideas about how to make the process much more affordable. But we have chosen to start from one place. And we have real homeowners. Not some of the advertisements you see on TV about homes that you can't see, about mortgage opportunities that there are no beneficiaries, about roads that exist only in photo. This is a real life event. We can talk to applicants. The homes you see in your photographs actually exist. People have moved into them. So only those who have done what we have done can actually begin to challenge us and say that, look, we can do it better than you. If you are doing it on paper and in design and images, you have to get your hands dirty first before you know how painful it is. So this is the difference. But I did some comparisons so that first we understand that there is no country that I know in the world that has been able to provide homes for all of its people as homeowners. You will continue to have a combination of people who own homes and a combination of people who rent homes. Let us understand that as a people. There is also, I don't know of any country that gives houses to its people free. I would like to go and find out how they do it, that you don't get a house free from government. So we must also agree that people must pay for these things. What makes this affordable for me is that it takes us away from where we were before, where you have to pay the whole price of your house at once. And that was why we intervened in the rent control and rent management by passing a legislation that you should not take more than 1 year's rent. That in itself is bad enough. Because asking people who get their salaries on a monthly basis to come and pay 3 years rent in advance, we are all simply hurting ourselves. If I am getting my salary at the end of September and my landlord is saying that I must bring 3 years rent in advance when I will receive 1 month salary in advance, nobody gets salary in advance that I know. But you know, this society, we are pretended as if all is well. People bring that money. But you know, for them to get that money, something has moved somewhere. There will be an accounting failure at the end. So, if we continue to accept that 3 months, 3 years, 4 years rent, we are actually embedding the seeds of corruption. Because the person who receives his salary at the end of the month, on a monthly basis, suddenly comes up with 3 years rent in advance, he has compromised somewhere. Ultimately, all of us pay for it. Those were the reasons why we intervened. And I hope that all of us will continue to cooperate, but we can march out of this situation. And what encourages me to share with you is that after about 500 or 600 years in Britain, just about 60-something% of them are homeowners. After 300 years in the UK, just about 64% are homeowners. The rest are still tenants. And in those countries too, you still need to give up and to contribute at least 20 to 25% of the equity, which is almost what we are doing. Our journey has just started. The first numbers we counted, I think, in the March draw was about 40 something. So we are growing every month. If we continue like this, month on month, year on year, in 10 years' time, certainly the numbers will change for the better. We continue to build, as the Executive Secretary of the board has told you. We are building in the Solo, we are building in Mori, we are building in Ajara, we are building in Obele, in Surulere, we are building off Akerele, we are building in Ibeshi, in Kurudu, we are building in Lekki, we are building at Omole, and across the state, there are no less than 20-something sites where construction is still going on. So, it will get to more people as we make progress. So I tell